Hello, my name is Allison Carmen, and welcome to my podcast, 10 Minutes to Less Suffering. And the name of today's podcast is Self-Rejecting is Not Accepting. And the reason this is on my mind lately is that I have a very dear friend that's been running her own business for a couple of years. And every time she calls me with a problem, she says to me, I'm just not smart enough to run my own business. And what's so interesting is that she's already been doing this for a couple of years. And I sometimes think she doesn't realize that every business has problems. And sometimes they're complex, and sometimes you can't solve them in the moment. And just because you can't solve them, or you find them hard, or you need to hire people to help you, it doesn't mean you're not smart enough to run your business. And I think a lot of people have this. When our life's not working out, or things are challenging, or we're not getting what we need, our first thought is there's something wrong with us. And it really is a self-rejection that we would think that we're less or we don't have what it takes before we actually look at the outside world, because sometimes there is something that's happening in the outside world that is challenging. And sometimes there's nothing wrong. It just takes time for things to change or for things to work out. And life still has many different possibilities. And the worst part about this is when we do this, we're not showing up as our best selves. It's like we're not on our own team. And if you think about it, if you were to show up for any sporting event and you didn't put your entire team on the field, how would you expect to compete with the opposing team if everybody on their team was playing? And that's what we do to ourselves. We cannot show up as whole. We cannot show up with all our gifts. We cannot show up with all our talents if on some level we are rejecting ourselves. And what's so interesting is that, in a way, self-rejecting is not accepting what is. So many of us talk about accepting the moment, being present in the moment. But part of presence is not just accepting the outside circumstance. It's also accepting our inner circumstance, our inner dialogue that we have about ourselves. Accepting the moment is about it is what it is as you look at the outside world. But at the same time, we have to look internal and accept we are who we are in this moment. Our body is the way it is. Our brain functions the way it does. And it's not that we can't improve things and work on things, but who we are in the moment is who we are. It is what we have to offer to the world. And instead of looking at the glory of who we are, of being grateful for who we are, of looking for all the things we have to offer, we look at what we don't have. We look at what we're not. And all we're doing is we're not accepting what is in the moment. Again, we are part of this moment exactly the way that we are. So all that self-doubt, I'm not good enough, I'm not smart enough, I'm not pretty enough, in the moment, when life is offering you something, in order to truly accept it, in order to truly embrace it, in order to truly access all possibilities, we have to find a way to quiet these negative thoughts about ourselves, quiet the doubts about ourselves by saying, I am who I am in this moment. And if the moment is offering me this possibility and this opportunity, then I am aligned with it. And you take a deep breath and you center yourself and you accept who you are. It is what it is. I am who I am. And you step forward and you do your best. And that's when we merge with the moment. And that's when our greatness truly shines through. And another thing is that if we want to have peace and we want to have freedom, that again only can happen in the moment. But it's not just about the trees and the beach and everything working out in the outside world. It's also about our inner dialogue. We can only be free and we can only have peace if we have peace with who we are. And again, it's not about changing ourselves, because we have a lifetime of trying to improve things about ourselves and learning new things and working on ourselves. But when we're faced with something, it's us meeting the moment. And that's where the magic happens. That's where the miracle happens. It's one of the most important things that we can do in our lives. Self-rejecting is not accepting. It's not accepting all of who we are. It's not accepting everything that we have to offer to the world. It's not accepting our divine right to be here. It's not accepting all our possibilities and all our potential. And it's not accepting that life is uncertain, and it's not accepting that possibilities always exist. We are often so busy saying what we're not that we're forgetting all that we are. And we're forgetting that who we are has gotten us to this moment, to align with the possibility. So we are enough because we got ourselves here. And we are enough because we are attracting this moment. We are already who we need to be to meet this moment and create the life that we want. And I know it's not easy sometimes because we have reasons from the past that make us believe we're not good enough. And there are things that are happening in the moment that make us feel like we don't have what it takes. And there are things that people say in life experiences that didn't go our way that make us feel that it's never going to be a possibility for us. But that's simply not true. We have always been good enough. Just because someone doesn't act right to us doesn't mean we're not good enough. Just because life has not gone our way or the way we wanted it to doesn't mean we're not good enough. We are good enough when we believe we are good enough. And when we put that energy out there and we merge with the moment, we are creating our greatest potential. We are aligning with the moment and creating the future. But we must come to this moment whole. We must allow ourselves to be who we are. We must accept it just like anything else. You wouldn't be dreaming it if something wasn't dreaming of you. And when we align with the moment, when we accept ourselves, we get to see all the beauty that we offer and all the beauty of life. And again, in order to truly access all possibilities, we have to find a way to quiet these negative thoughts about ourselves, quiet the doubts about ourselves by saying, I am who I am in this moment. And if the moment is offering me this possibility and this opportunity, then I am aligned with it. And you take a deep breath and you center yourself and you accept who you are. It is what it is. I am who I am. And you step forward and you do your best. And if you can't get there, you always have the maybe practice. Ask yourself your biggest fear. I'm afraid I'm not good enough. I'm afraid I don't have what it takes. I'm afraid my dreams aren't real. And then you ask yourselves, are you absolutely certain your fears are true? And the beauty of life is you cannot be certain of anything. And then you do the maybe practice. Maybe I have what it takes to pursue my dreams. Maybe I have what it takes to have the relationship. Maybe I have what it takes to love myself more. Maybe I have what it takes to live the life I've always dreamed of. So let's try to stop self-rejecting and start accepting. There's a beautiful life waiting for you. And all you need to do is show up as you and meet the moment. That's where your freedom lies. And as you stop self-rejecting and you start self-accepting, you will start to experience the miracles of the moment. You will start to reach your full potential. You will start to experience more joy and more love. And you will start to deeply know the beauty of living in the moment while still remembering that maybe the best is yet to come. Thank you for listening to this podcast today. If you'd like to get in touch with me, you can email me at allison@allisoncarmen.com. If you'd like to buy my books, The Gift of Maybe or A Year Without Men, they're available at all major bookstores and online retailers. And if you like this podcast, you could subscribe and leave a comment.